Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Shri Ramachandra, Jai Shri Lakshmi Nrsimha. So now I'm going to talk about Vastu Shastra, Vedic Vastu Shastra as a great social service. So nowadays many cities are being built and there are cities that are growing fast and different constructions being built in different places. And due to this, we have seen many cities falling, many cities rising sometimes, and many more things happening. Some layouts and some plots are, demarked according to their own whims and fancies, and we see some disasters and sometimes prosperity due to it. So, what is the magic behind a small square meter of land? How does a piece of land influence our lives? Is it true that Vastu Shastra really? Vastu Shastra is the science of studying the earth's vibrations.
Light இல்லாம செய்யும்
Right?
ஒரு லைட்டும் இல்ல
It's not bright, Shah. Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Shri Ramachandra, Jai Shri Lakshmi Nrsimha. So now I'm going to explain how Vastu Shastra, Vedic Vastu Shastra, is a great social service and a great humanitarian service for the whole of mankind and even for other organisms that dwell on earth. If we are creating a particular space for living, we surely have something in mind. We all should be prosperous, healthy, happy and rich in that particular space. Whether it's a family who are planning to be prosperous, happy and healthy as usual, nobody wants to get into a big debt and get serious issues in life, isn't it? So everybody wishes for good to happen in different ways. And overall, everybody looks at a healthy life. So this is what is the perspective of the common public before buying a house or constructing a house or even buying a simple plot. In the same way, good governments in the world would surely want their citizens to be happy, healthy and prosperous and also themselves to be quite rich and famous across the world. And in the same way, various building layout constructors would like all the plots to be sold as their first thing, and the second thing to bring a look of prestige to their layout. And somehow every organism in the world wishes to be in harmony with nature and in pure protection of nature. Harmony in nature does not only mean that we just do not pollute the whole nature and then we can be happy, prosperous and healthy. It also means that there is a deep secret under the earth. If we would like to benefit from the earth, why do some spots of the earth look very beautiful and appear very rich and wonderful, and why do others just look so poor? There are many countries who are struck by poor people and struck by poverty in total. And there are many countries which are very rich. There are some cities which have a very high rate of mortality and a very high rate of disease in their places. So what exactly is the reason behind some areas of the world and some particular spaces of land? There are many cases to quote where people just enter a house and they can just change their whole life by it. Sometimes to the positive way and sometimes to the negative side of life, and you completely drown in misery and disaster. So what exactly is this radiation that is moving across the world? The Vedic sages had seen this through their sixth sense type intuitive power, which they got by doing a lot of meditation over many hundreds of years. In the past, sages used to live for thousands of years together, and they utilized this time to do deep research on various topics. Just as scientists are doing it with machines today, they used to do it with their supernatural vision. And by that they found out that there's a network of rays and radiation across the earth. And that is permeating every single direction, and using the directional powers and the magnetic powers, the solar powers, and mixing up together with a plethora of different rays from the universal areas. There are different centers of energy across the universe. We know different stars, we know different black holes, many more things. In fact, our Vedas give a vivid description of such black holes. We have a vivid description of energy centers across the universe. We have vivid descriptions of different planets and different planetary deities. Modern science cannot see all of this due to its short-sightedness, because it's not as much as developed to be able to view all of this, and this all can only be seen through spirituality and mental progress, not just money and financial progress. Ancient India was witnessing its most highest golden phase when we used to follow this Vastu Shastra. Vastu Shastra is not only about north, east, south, west. It's not only about the sun rising and setting. It's not just about a few set of rules of a bathroom and a bedroom and a kitchen. It is about the holistic harmony with nature and the universe. According to our Vedic scriptures, the universe has many energy centers as we discussed, and they are also together combining and affecting the earth. Which person would say that the universe does not have an effect upon the earth? How can we rule out that the universe has no such effect on the earth which control the lives of people? The earth is a small particle within the universe, a tiny particle within the universe. How can we say that the earth is not influenced by the universe? It is sure that our earth is vulnerable to all sorts of influences from every quadrant of the universe, and that is why our ancient sages could see this and they noted this down. They recorded it in their ancient books. There are many such books of great architects and sages of the past, including an architect who used to build fantasy buildings and huge 100-story, 1,000-story buildings which are described in our Puranas, in the Mahabharata, in the Ramayana. We had earthly buildings, heavenly buildings, we had skyscrapers, we had large high-rise buildings, we had low-lying peaceful buildings, and many more types of construction. If we read the Mayamatam, the Vishwakarma Vastu Shastram, and so many ancient books about construction, we would see that there was such a great literature about construction in our past. And this today has been translated and brought to a system, and that is our Vastu Shastra. So if a government or a particular person or just a businessman constructs his particular layout or city in a particular way according to the scriptures, there will be surely prosperity and everything else. It is time for the world to look at the inner aspects of the earth that are hidden within the Vedas and Vastu Shastra. So Vastu Shastra books today are translated and widely published, and everywhere they are available. One needs an adequate knowledge of Sanskrit and other scriptures while interpreting them, and one can easily make a lot of prosperity out of it. And one more very important thing, without which nothing else is important. The very purpose of us living on earth is not to accumulate money, not to be just prosperous and healthy. These are all things that are necessary. They are like wheels of the chariot. But just wheels do not move. We have a destination, a goal. So, for example, we're starting from a particular place, we need to end at a particular place. So, human life is a journey, and the destination is to reach the Supreme through different ways. This science is called spirituality, and unless people are having the spark of devotion within them, they can't do it. And Vastu Shastra also can bring this spark of devotion within people. Why in today's cities people aren't concentrating on spirituality that much as before? Why? It is because the harmony with nature is not perfect. Harmony with nature is coordinating with the directions. Our directions, the different directional forces are very important. Coordinating with universal forces, coordinating with the sun, which is the greatest celestial being for our earth, and coordinating with everything else that has an effect on earth. That can be mountains, it can be just a simple shadow. So we have to look at all of these things, and these things are described in the Puranas and Shastras. Had it not been for the sages that they gave us these scriptures, we would have been left in the darkness without knowing it. And since we have it today, we should make use of it, and therefore we should pay our obeisances to those great sages who have performed this Herculean task of giving us these ancient sermons. So let us try to bring a good world which will, let's try to change. Let's try to make the change. First by starting with our homes, with our food, with our clothes, and that's how the human can be altogether changed. Food changes the body. A particular place that we stay, scientists have not yet been able to find this, and our modern science is not capable, very much incapable of finding out the innate influences of Earth and how the Earth is influenced by the universe. One basic thing that science is not able to solve is, how does the universe affect the Earth? Maybe physically, yes, just creates a few craters by dropping meteors, but how does it affect us mentally? That the science of Jyotisha Shastra says, astrology. How does it affect our personal lives? the different planets around the earth. The earth is working with the solar system, and there are various planets that are sending out their influences towards us. Just as the sun sends its rays to the moon and that ray comes back to us. It's not the same as the sun, it's not as bright as the sun, and the same way its potency changes. Just like the sun has a particular potency in its rays, the moon has a different potency. So that potency will affect us in a different way. That's a lunar protection to us, or even destruction, whenever, whatever. In the same way, Saturnine rays, Martian rays, Venusian rays, etc. different rays do affect us, and that is astrology. In the same way, Vastu Shastra is a very important science, and we all must consider this. It's very scientific. Science is not only that which we can see and that which we can feel. We can't say that something we can't feel and see isn't present, isn't it? We can't say that something that we have not seen wasn't there. We can just hypothesize that it may have not been there or it may have been there. In the same way, there are some historians who say that the Rig Veda is very recent, just because they just got the reference to the Saraswati Nadi. But why don't they say that the Saraswati Nadi has been drowned and the Rig Veda has talked about the Saraswati Nadi? That can be even millions of years ago. It need not be that the Rig Veda just wrote about the Saraswati river when it just disappeared. So the historians and the scientists of today needed retouching from the scriptures, and they need to at least look around and see what is present in our scriptures and how far it can affect the universe. And the public of the world have to understand a little bit. They should try to understand a little bit about our Earth's rays and how it affects us. So how this Earth's rays do affect us in different ways. The different directional rays, the different magnetic rays, the different solar rays, the different planetary rays, universal rays, they all come from different centers of energy across the universe. To be able, capable and a good human, we need to understand the earth also. So this is the plea of the ancient sages that has been given in their scriptures. Especially young children must be taught about all of these architectural and many more things. So Vastu is also about coordinating with nature and creating our homes so as to imitate and be able to absorb the highest positive energy from the earth. So this is what our ancient sages aimed at, and this is what is Vastu Shastra, and not just holding a compass and looking at directions. Though that is an integral part of it. So thank you. Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Shri Ramachandra, Jai Shri Lakshmi Narasimha.